In this short tutorial, I'm just going to talk to you about adding expenses. So in GERU, there are three main components of any project that you build. You have your objects or landing pages or emails or little things that you drag from the left-hand menu to create kind of your funnel map and your model. Then you have traffic sources, and then the third one is expenses. So you can add any kind of business expenses to your model to really simulate kind of the revenue and profit in an actual business. So if we come over here to the right-hand side next to expenses in this menu, you'll see a gear icon. When you click that, you'll notice it brings up a similar window to what you saw when you went to add a traffic source. And we can click to add an expense. So we've pre-populated our list with a bunch of common business expenses. So you can pick one of those labels, or if you don't see something named what you'd want, you just pick custom expense and then just name it what you want. The next thing you want to pick is the billing frequency. That's how often that expense is billed to the business. Typically, you just keep it on monthly. So if you have, some kind of, Zendesk, help desk software that your company pays for every month, it's $79 a month. So you'd leave that just monthly and then put the amount in, of course, here for however much that is. If it's a yearly expense in the business, you could just set that to yearly. Also, you can do daily or weekly. Now, one of the things that you want to do here is you can put in a bunch of specific expenses if you want to see those on reports inside GERU for that project. Or you can do what I taught in the previous traffic sources tutorial, where if you don't want to put in a bunch of detailed expenses, and let's say you just want to have an overall overhead number, then what you can do is, let's say you just name this, these are labels, you can name it whatever you want, but let's just say we call it all expenses. And we say $5,000 a month. Maybe this covers an office that we rent, somebody in the Philippines to do support. It doesn't matter. But let's just say there are $5,000 in monthly recurring expenses for this business and how we want to simulate things. And so we click Save. And now we've added that, and we can see that over here. We've added this other expense. Our little chart is changing here now about the percentage that traffic makes up of the total expenses. And of course, we're now further in the red with negatives because we have more expenses and we haven't yet set up a product to sell yet, which will come in the next tutorial. But that's as simple as it is. So again, GERU was designed to be as simple or as kind of detailed as you want it to be. If you want to add every single little expense that you have in your business, you want to add those into GERU, you can do that one at a time and add them. Or you can do just kind of a group expense like I just showed you how to do with one amount that covers, or represents a whole bunch of expenses. So if you just have like a fixed overhead cost for a business, or maybe you're modeling a business idea and this is kind of how much it's going to cost to run that business, whether you have an employee, office space, whatever those expenses are, you can add that into kind of one encompassing expense, or at least group it together. You can still add other individual expenses, but you can have a bunch of stuff in a group, and that just saves you time. So you can set up a model for a business or a business idea with one traffic source covering whatever those traffic numbers would be in that cost, as well as one expense covering whatever that recurring expense would be. You can add those in like 60 seconds. And then you don't have to add any more traffic sources or expenses. Then you can just tweak kind of the marketing funnel to see the calculations. So again, it's up to you. You can put in as much detail or as little detail as you want into GERU. And of course, it'll always run the calculations for you, and it'll run reports based on the detail level that you add to the software. So that's how you add expenses. It's very, very simple. And of course, to manage those expenses, to delete one or make changes, again, you just go over to that gear icon, click it. You'll bring up the window here. We can see it says custom expense because that's what we added. We can go in here and change stuff. Or of course, we can click the X and delete it and to kind of wipe that out and start over. But it's just like it works with traffic sources. Very, very simple.